Get the work session started. This work session, of course, is just for the commissioners, or if you happen to be on the agenda. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going ahead and get started this time. Item for discussion is department updates, and we have got Kimmer. How are you doing today, sir?
Doing good.
Mr. Quinton, you want to give us an update on a quick update on the roads?
Yes. Right now, we're working on the parking lot down at Tate Depot. We should have that finished in probably 3 to 4 days. Have all the grading done and the gravel and everything put on it. Hopefully by next Monday or Tuesday.
And the reason for that, ladies and gentlemen, is the fact that the individual that's been given the county the dirt to repair a lot of our roads with, the clay, had some what we call spoils. It's outcroppings of dirt that he had someplace to put them. So he's been giving us all this, so we kind of owed him back a favor return. So that's how we went ahead. For right now, we're just dumping it at the depot because it's close to the area. So it needs to be built up. So we, only thing that is that part. I didn't mean to interrupt. I just want to clarify.
And we want to start widening Pettit Road next week. And that's that narrow section there at the end of the pavement on Settle Church Road that we left. Where, you know, there's two cars can't meet there right now. And we got the power poles moved, and we'll start widening that next week.
So Amaclola did go ahead and move the power poles?
Yeah, got poles moved and everything on that. We still like a little work on our LMIG roads for 2018 LMIG. Most of that's over around Middle Avenue, Nally Drive in that area, and also a little around Hickory Cove.
Okay.
But other than that, we've got most of the prep work done on the LMIG roads for 2018.
You get all your pipes in ready for this, when this contract is let on next Thursday week, got all the pipes changed out, ready to go?
We've got 2 to put in on Hickory Cove.
Okay.
And other than that, we've got all the drainage pipes fixed.
All right.
We got the bridge refloored on Fairview Road this week and got the road opened back up. The boards had deteriorated, you know, to a point where we had to refloor the whole bridge. We got that taken care of and the road opened back up. Huge stuff.
Kim, are y'all doing a project down in Nelson? What's going on down there? I was reading something about that.
That's the city of Nelson. That's not us. I'm not sure exactly what they got going on down there.
I thought they mentioned the LMIG in what I was reading about it.
Might be on the Cherokee card.
Well, they got, City Nelson have their own LMIG, and then they've got their own LMIG with Cherokee County.
Okay.
So so we don't go into the city of Jasper. City of Jasper's got their own LMIG also.
It must have been Nelson.
Yeah.
We've started our mowing for the season. We've got a little behind from all the rains and everything lately, but we should get that caught up here in the next couple of weeks. And we're still planning on asphalt resurfacing Griffith Road, Harrington Road, Pea Ridge Road, and Fortner Road. We're going to do all that work in-house this year. And then we're going to be tar and graveling Jordan Road, Thomason Road, Young Loop, and Evans Road.
Okay. All right. And along with that, Johnny and Kim have been working, Mr. Nicholson and Mr. Quinton been working on the LMIG for 2019, where we get those contracts going, where y'all got any roads that need to go on that list that are actually county owned, that we can go ahead and get them on the list and see if we can get some LMIG money for those for next year.
Good deal.
All right, anything else with Mr. Quinton? Richard, you're back there in the back. Give us a quick update on the building permits and all.
Yes, sir. Thank you for your time. I had requested that a couple of things be discussed. I'll start real quick with development. I sent y'all a monthly update, and the bottom line is when you compare April to last year, April 2017, everything total is up. Permits, licensing, inspections is up, and so that report has the percentages and numbers. The other 2 things are the comprehensive plan and the service delivery strategy. So I'll hand you out a summary of the draft comprehensive plan. I've got extra copies if anybody wants one. So the outline about the comprehensive plan process is in May 2017, we had our first public hearing to kick off the process. And then May to July, we had a survey that over 700 responses were received by hard copy, website, and email. We had several stakeholders committee meetings, August, October, December, February, April. Between February and April this year, the state created the rough draft based on input from the survey, stakeholders meetings, interviews, phone calls, and emails. The rough draft from about April 12th has been reviewed and revised several times, and so we've got a, you might call it, final draft that the state is finishing today, essentially. State staff member Ethan Calhoun out of the Rome office, and the state having all their formal processes like they do, for whatever reason, before the state out of Atlanta, the big house in North Atlanta, Department of Community Affairs, before they can even review the draft plan, each jurisdiction has to have a signature, a submittal letter. It doesn't say that the city of Nelson or Pickens County, whoever, approves the plan, because that's a separate adoption resolution that I'll bring before y'all in 2 weeks from now, May 17. But the highest elected official is requested to sign a submittal letter. And it's my understanding that the 3 cities have done this. So if, and it doesn't take a vote or anything, it's essentially just a head nod in the affirmative saying, yes, the process has been completed, yes, the draft has been completed, and yes, it can be reviewed at this time by the state.
How long have we got to sign up on this letter?
So if y'all, because again, it doesn't require a vote, so it's totally your prerogative. Like I say, the other 3 cities, their highest elected official has signed this exact same letter. You know, y'all can generally give a head nod if you want Mr. Jones to sign it today. If you don't feel comfortable, that's fine too. No big deal. May 17 will be the actual formal request for adoption resolution. If it's not signed today, Mr. Jones could sign the transmittal letter May 17. Either way.
I just want to, myself and the other 2 commissioners would like to read this version of the draft before I feel comfortable them giving me permission to sign anything.
Sure.
So I want to go through it and be sure there's no hiccups or doesn't give y'all. Can y'all take care of that in a couple of days, 3, 4 days?
Sure. Richard, is this the one you sent us by email?
It's a little shorter. It's the same information. Essentially, the April 12 rough draft was very rough, but the main ideas are the same. It's probably been revised 3 or 4 times since then in the sense of redundancies that can be cut out, spelling errors, grammar, stuff like that. And so we probably, between staff, elected officials, planning commission members, citizens, property owners, business owners, whoever, probably has 200 or 300 tiny minor changes to the rough draft plan, but the essentials are the same. So yes, ma'am, what you've got in front of you are the essentials of the first, what's community-wide consensus of the majority. Second, what's the general Pickens County, and then third, the cities, in the sense that I will kind of, confirm to you and everybody that the comprehensive plan is state required. We got to adopt it so that we can be a qualified local government. We will have the ability to continue to apply for state and federal grants, but it's not standards. It's not something set in stone. It's guidelines. So whether it's May 17 or later. I mean, if y'all don't feel comfortable with approving it May 17, you don't have to. I'll request that you consider voting May 17, but even when the plan is adopted, it's guidelines. It is not any requirements that y'all or staff or anybody has to do anything. It's just a foundational document, and then changes to our standards could be made, possibly, based on the goals and objectives in terms of development regulations, zoning ordinance, things like that, land use ordinance. But again, this is totally guidelines. This is a fortune teller's crystal ball vision document that we use as planning and development, but it's not required.
Thank you.
We were one of the original counties back when the last one was done to live up to everything that was documented in the last comprehensive plan. There are the few counties in the state that actually lived up to it. But he's correct. This is just a plan for the future. You don't have to go by verbatim. You guys, everybody know politics change as time goes on, but you have to have it done to where then you're a qualified local government where you can get grants. What those grants we get, LMIG, those type of issues that you get from the state.
So the main result of this comprehensive plan will be, at some point in time, Mr. Jones will need to sign the submittal letter so that the state can formally review it. Now, they know what's going on with this, but this is just a formal process. The adoption resolution for all local governments to locally adopt it, that'll be on the agenda for May 17, and then I want to make sure I cover everything. So yeah, really the submittal letter and adoption resolution. And then the second thing I'll mention, separately but somewhat related, is a state required list of services. All it says is, as of 2018, what does the county provide? What do the cities provide? The formal state name is Service Delivery Strategy. We've had it for approximately 20 years. It gets updated every 5 to 10 years. It, again, just is not vision, is not anything. It doesn't say anything that you have to do. It just says this is what we do as a county, and this is what the cities do. In early 2018, a meeting was held between the county and cities to just confirm the existing services. In April, Nelson confirmed to us 100% that they no longer have police. Talking Rock, through a resolution approved by the mayor and town council, voted to adopt a resolution stating that they are ending the 2011 agreement with the county. Since 2011, there's been an agreement for the county to do licensing, permitting, inspections on behalf of the few times that there's activity inside the town limits. That's totally ended. We have a copy of that, multiple copies, hard copies, electronic copies, so that's dead.
So
Talking Rock is on their own.
So you received a letter from the city council of Talking Rock saying they want their ability to be licensing. So that has, officially they have sent us a letter to where then we can turn the responsibility back over to them, correct?
Yes, sir. We've got the resolution.
I want to see the letter.
The county clerk does, I do. There's multiple copies.
I'd like to see the letter that Talking Rock sent.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you.
So the service delivery strategy, we're discussing it today. On May 17, it'll be an item for the Board of Commissioners to possibly vote to adopt. And again, it's just existing services. So that's where we stand: comprehensive plan, service delivery strategy, and formally May 17, y'all may vote if you want
Yeah,
to.
I got a couple notes on this that
Yes, sir.
changes were not made, so I'll get with you later on today and take care of some of that. All right, any further questions? All right, thanks, Richard.
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Dean, how's the water system going in Pickens County?
It's going pretty good. We
Okay.
started land.
Is that it?
Yeah. No, we got started back on Jones Mountain a couple weeks ago.
Mhm.
And as of yesterday, we had roughly 5,000 foot left to get to the county line. We're dealing with some phone lines right now. We've got several phone lines right there on the side where we're at. And there's phone lines on the other side, so either way we go, we're gonna be dealing with them. So for the next probably 3 or 4 days we're up there, it's gonna be slow go. But once we get past that section, the phone line gets about 20 foot off the road and it's clear sailing. So hopefully we'll get more weather like we've had this week and we can keep on keeping on up there. With that said, we've had 8 meters purchased in the month of April. So that brings us up to 18 for the year. We're about where we was at last year. Last year we had 20. So we have to stop and, you know, from up there and go set the meters. And Monday the 30th, the EPD come up for their inspection, sanitary survey. And we had to go to all our entry points and to all our pump stations and storage tanks. And she had to go through all of our paperwork and permits and records from 10 years ago. You name it, she went through it. She said before she left, she said everything looked probably the best in any system that she's done in the past 5 or 6 years. It looked no problem. They did have one little update on their sampling plan, but it was just a minor change, so nothing really changed. But she's going to email me the report. She said hopefully I'll have it by Friday. So everything else is going pretty good.
All right.
Congrats on that good report.
Thank you. It's hard to keep the EPD happy.
Welcome.
How many more sections have we got as far as connecting in with Gilbert?
Well, this line here, we've got a line already run up Swan Bridge to connect to Gilmer, whenever
we're
Gilmer
right
runs
there.
line through there. This here will bring us another line up to Gilmer on Yukon Road, and we have signed the contract for that. It's a mutual contract that when Gilmer ties on to us, then, you know, for intergovernmental agreement, in case we have a water loss from either direction, we can work that out. And then, of course, we got, how many connections we got with Cherokee County? Got 3 or 4? 3 connections
Yeah,
with
we
Cherokee.
got Pickens Street, Yellow Creek, and Old 5.
Okay, and then we got 2 connections with Calhoun.
One.
Well, we just got one.
We just got one with Calhoun.
And ready to, and looking at doing the second one with Calhoun if we need to. And then, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
We've got, at the next meeting, we'll have an agreement with Gilmer County Water and Sewer Board to sign. Y'all authorize Robert to sign a preliminary, but we've got a new approval, I guess, so that's pretty much something.
Okay.
As far as
It slowed us up a little bit because I think Gilmer County Water and Sewer, didn't they change attorneys?
yeah, they did.
Yeah.
But they got it, I mean, to turn their work over.
Yeah.
Good guy knows what he's doing. He's on top of it.
The Yukon, and getting that tied in, as soon as we get that lined up there, then, and this agreement's been signed, so that'll release Gilmer County, go ahead and start running theirs up there on down to Pickens. They've got about as many feet to run as we've had.
They've got 4.5 miles, I think.
Yeah. I think Gilmer.
From the middle school, from Clear Creek to
Yeah.
the county line, I think I measured it was almost 4 miles or a little over.
Yeah, this will give Gilmer another, well, not another, this will give them their first tie-in to a neighboring county. They don't have any tie-ins yet. And then, of course, we're ready to hook up to when and if Dawson County wants to hook on. We got numerous lines up there. We're going to hook on to Dawson County whenever they get ready. All right, Mr. Nicholson, how are you doing today, sir?
I'm fine, how are you?
Doing well, doing well.
Last Friday, April 27th, we opened the LMIG road bids for paving for 2018. Johnson Paving in Fannin County, Blue Ridge had the winning bid. That'll be ready for y'all to sign on your next meeting. I talked to FEMA, Category A for Storm Irma last September is done, we finalized it. Now we're awaiting that check. It's $124,000 and change for debris removal. We qualified with the road department and water department's help. We made the 30-day limit, so we got an extra 10% that way. So things are going smooth there. Sloan and I have been working on a search and rescue vehicle, coming up with some numbers for UTV. We noticed an accident on our hiking trails last October. It was hard to get the lady out because the equipment we have is so big when we go down those trails. So we're working on that, and then with the fire, the tree, and the bad terrain there, you just couldn't take any vehicle you had up through there either. So
with the parks we've got coming on board, such as one off of 136, there's 1,000 acres or another, it's got walking trails there.
And then a bike trail.
We got a bike park that's got approximately 300 acres there at Pickens County line, that mostly are set up for non-motorized or walking type individuals, so we have to try to get something to get in there and bringing people out. So I think that's what Mr. Nicholson and Sloan's working towards to get that accomplished. And of course, as Pickens County, you know, it'd be handy equipment, you know, for the future as we go. Any others you got?
Nope, that's it for me.
All right. Rodney, you got any updates? EPD, stormwater, any issues?
Got an update this morning that our landfill is improving. The last check that they conducted on it, one of the wells dropped below the acceptable, or it's now acceptable, and the other one is not quite there, but it's significantly dropped, and they anticipate it being in the acceptable range within another month or so.
How's it doing with the, I know we have to maintain the bush hogging of all that property up there. How are we with the fescue growing and all that? We don't have to get it.
Well, now with the season starting, we're going to check with the road department if they're capable. If not, then we'll probably have to contact an outside source to do it potentially once this spring and then once this fall to keep that maintained. That's one of the things that EPD likes is the well sites being cleaned off of all debris. And last year we got all the maintenance for all the labeling, all the gates, all the signs, everything's good, so they're happy with that. Now that we just gotta maintain it and keep it up.
All right. All right, thank you very much. Any questions for him? Ms. Harvey? How's the finance department doing today?
Finance department is here and working.
Okay.
Good answer.
We are
Scratch that one off
in the
your list.
process of completing the audit. The auditors have been here and done testing, and then a week of field work. So they're all done. We're just tying up some loose ends right now. Hope to have a draft of the audit by the third week in May, and we will have the auditors here to present the audit to you at the commissioners meeting in June. And then it has to be submitted to the state by June 30th. So we're well on track to get that done.
Is everything looking good, or are you getting feedback?
Yes, everything's looking good.
Good.
All right.
That's about
Jared, you got
it.
anything? Yep. All right, human resource. How's Miss Paula doing this morning?
Oh, doing good, thank you. There's not been, it's kind of been slow on new hires and terminations lately, so we've taken some time to kind of, I guess you'd say, audit our policies and processes and the things we do in HR. And as y'all know, recently, our retirement company had sent an update to our retirement form. I've got a little bit more information on that for you all. And there will also be an email following, because it literally came in like 5 minutes ago with a little more information.
Okay.
And this should help with that, and we can do it. But, I'll be happy to answer any questions, and if I don't know the answer, I'll get with them.
And going and looking at what I've seen here is pretty well a preliminary of what, or this is the major content of what I've been reading preliminaries of earlier. Correct me if I'm wrong, so if you retire from Pickens County under the GEP Corp plan, under the retirement plan we've got now, that you cannot come back unless you're 1099, or cannot come back at all?
Well, it has to be a bona fide termination, and that includes some language in there that you can't won't come back in any capacity. And I included his number, so if in the future if y'all didn't have any questions, he said he'd be happy to answer. But it specifically, he's gives some information in there. The IRS kind of looks at if there's an agreement beforehand to come back to work. And he's sending me our plan documents to let us know how people will be treated if we do have retirees.
Do you know right off, how many people do we have now that have retired in our work?
There's approximately about 5, but I would need to get a list from GovCorp because I've been in HR for 5 years. There could be people before that, so I would actually really need to get a list from them to say.
What would it do, if depending on how strenuous this is, what would it do to say, for instance, the sheriff's department that they retire and bring back on? Is if they're not drawing from GovCorp, is that going to limit, I mean, if they're not on the GovCorp plan, and they're on some other plan from other places, is that going to limit them from coming in and working at Pickens County?
Are you saying like if they come from another county?
Yeah. Well, I guess what I'm saying, if they come from another county, but they're on the GovCorp plan at that county, is that going to restrict them from working in Pickens County?
Not that I'm aware of. I could verify that for sure, but not that I'm aware of.
Okay. But if they retire, the sheriff's department retires from, somebody retires from Pickens County from the sheriff's department, then that'll limit them from coming back on board, correct?
I think that the main thing is that he's got to send me our plan because there's been so many amendments and through the years, I want to make sure we've got the current information and what our current plan actually says. So he's sending me that information, and as soon as I get that, I'll forward that on to you and
All right,
kind of
thank you.
answer that.
All right. Y'all have any further questions for her? Okay. That, have you got any other questions for anybody here before we go forward? Sloan? Before I go to item B, you got anything?
I was hoping to give an update on the groundbreaking, because last I spoke with Jimmy last week, which we had class, again, and he was gonna start at the beginning of this week, but I went by there this morning, and there's nothing been pushed, so I've got to call in to him, but I've not heard back from him.
Okay, it's on that fire station on Carmel.
Moss Road, yeah, or, yeah, the Moss Station on Carmel Road.
All right. All right. Then if that be the case, we're gonna go to item 3, Fuego Restaurant. Ms. Marcias, I think you're on the agenda for today.
Yes, sir.
You got the floor, please. Stand.
Okay. I submitted a petition that I had passed around the restaurant, and I have talked to the other business owners in Marble Hill, which would be Home and Sourwood and Forno. These are the owners of Forno. I'm not sure if anybody from Home is here, somebody's from Sourwood is here. And I think Cindy was going to send a letter from Home in reference to being in favor for Sunday sales for alcohol. We're basically competing with Jasper and Dawsonville right now. And from what I understand, when I've met with the alcohol board, they had said that when it was put up for a vote initially for the package sales, they thought that they had included the restaurants and the wording didn't include it. So unfortunately, we were not allowed to sell.
Now, you can sell beer and wine, but you can't sell strictly mixed drinks. I think that's the issue, isn't it? Or
No.
You can't sell beer and wine either?
No, sir.
Okay. Oh, package stores can, but restaurants can't.
And there's no package stores outside the city limits of Jasper. But IGA can sell a wine or beer,
Yeah.
and the Chevron can, but I can't sell a drink.
Okay.
And so I would say probably about 40% of my customers leave on Sundays because they can't have a margarita or beer.
All right. If we take this on and bring it forward, you want to tell them what the process is going to be? Because would it have to go back before the legislature and get back on a ballot to vote on? Okay. We'll have the county attorney check it out, see if we go forward, because if we agree to do this, then what I would think what would have to happen would be it would have to go back before the state legislature and get it back on the ballot for the citizens of Pickens County to vote on again. But we will define that out through our county attorney, see if he can clarify that. So just stay in touch with Linda or Richard Osborne with the planning and development. We'll try to keep you posted on that.
Because like, for example, Saturday is Cinco de Mayo for us. It's like the biggest day of the year. Next year it's on Sunday. I've already had one Cinco de Mayo Sunday, which is probably the only time that I've ever celebrated Cinco de Mayo because I wasn't able to work.
Right.
So, I mean, it really does affect me. I mean, that's 4 Sundays a month that, we're losing quite a bit of revenue. And obviously, that's taxes that I could also, you guys be making as well from me. And I know Home doesn't open on Sundays. I mean, part of the reason is because they can't sell alcohol. I'm sure it affects Sourwood. They said that it definitely affects them. So I understand there's not a lot of businesses in Marble Hill, but maybe there's opportunity for there to be more if people knew that they could sell alcohol all 7 days of the week. You know, I mean, I've even considered possibly opening like a sports bar down the street, but I'm like, you know, and if, you know, Sunday night football, anything like that, people want a beer with it.
Yeah.
And I can't offer that.
Is there any way we can like annex these restaurants inside the city limits? No?
You gotta be contiguous with the city of Jasper in order to be able to annex into the city of Jasper. So you have to be contiguous. And to do that, what you're asking would be what's called spoke annexation, and that's not legal with the state of Georgia.
Okay. So Marble Hill is not considered a city then, Nelson, Talking Rock, and so on?
Nelson, Top Rock, and Jasper, that's correct.
Well, we got a post office there. Would that not be considered a city though?
No.
No?
Only way you can get approved for a city is you have to apply through DCA, Department of Community Affairs, and then you got to show that you're going to offer three. What am I trying to say? You have to offer 3 services, such as garbage pickup, animal control, water, whatever. You got to offer at least a minimum of 3 services. But all that's got to go through the state legislature to apply for a city. So you got to have, somebody's got to do your surveys for the boundaries for the city limits. It's a really an in-depth issue, and then you've got to have the approval of people that live within that area to be sure they want to be in the city because their taxes are going up. So those are those issues that you have to look at if you want to try to make a city of Marble Hill or a city of Tate or whatever. So Roy, did I miss anything to that point? So that's the issues you got to do with it. And you're talking about a process that's going to take you longer than trying to get this on the ballot.
Yeah.
So.
And how long is this going to take to get on the ballot?
Well, depending on what the county attorney finds out, if it's got to go, now this is a big if it's got to go back to the state legislature. The state legislature is now out of session. They just meet 45 days a year. So you'd have to have all your ducks in a row and everything by January 1st to get it in front of the state legislature, to get them to approve it, to get it on the ballot, to be voted on the following November.
So there's no way to amend the law that's already been, they've already,
Not for me. You might get the governor and state legislature to have a special session, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Okay.
so how is it that inside of Jasper, they can sell, and it's Pickens County, but I'm in Pickens County and I can't sell?
Because they did, the group that had that inside the city of Jasper worked on it for 3 years and then got it on the ballot to get it passed. It's about a 2 or 3 year process to get it all through.
So did the rest of the county not want to follow through and do it the whole county?
I'm assuming that's how it was voted on.
Your attorney said that the laws were written differently, right, than what they had thought.
No, it's our attorney here. He hadn't said anything.
No, when I talked to the commission, and the commission, the alcohol board, they had told me that, I mean, everybody had thought that, that they were voting on sales, individual sales and the package.
What you got to remember, the way the state works, is I can send a piece of legislation, they can send a piece of legislation down to the state capitol. It goes before your senators and your congressmen, your representatives down there. Once that piece of legislation goes to them, I don't care how you've got it written verbatim here, they can change it any way they want to. And once they change it, you have no other concept of getting it changed back until it goes back on the ballot and they vote on it. And then if the people say, for instance, Pickens County vote for that piece of legislation, that's nailed in concrete till you can get it changed in the future. That's the way it works in the state of Georgia. But let the attorney, let our attorney do some background. See, we might be jumping to this one here. We might be jumping to conclusions. Let's see what all the facts are, and then we'll take it from there. And then we can come up with a process. If this is what you want to do for the future, then now's the time to start working on it.
Okay.
Oh, no, I definitely want to do this, so whatever else, other step I need to take, because, I mean, it's holding me back from actually going.
Just remember, you can get it on the ballot. Doesn't mean it's going to get voted in.
Right.
I mean, you just do what you can do. All right. That brings us down to general discussion. Any employee or Chris got anything to say? Well, guys, y'all have a safe weekend. and it looks like we're gonna have some pretty weather the next couple of days, so, y'all enjoy it, take care. This meeting is now adjourned. Now, so we have adjourned this meeting, now we're gonna have a call meeting. Yeah, we're gonna adjourn the work session, now we have a call meeting. Pickens County Board of Commissioners call meeting Thursday, May 3rd, 2018, conference room, suite 168. Pickens County Board of Commissioners will have a call meeting for the purpose of described below, immediately following the work session that begins at 10 a.m. on Thursday, May 3rd, 2018, in suite 168 of the Administrative Office Building located at 1266 East Church Street. The agenda, we are now going to call this meeting to order. Okay. Number 2, authorize the chairman to sign bond documents for the airport T-hangar project. I need a move and a second to give the chairman of the Board of Commissioners the authority to go ahead and finish signing the bond documents for the airport T-hangar over at the airport.
So moved.
All right, move and a second. All right, I move and second. Any further discussion? None being, all that in favor, let know by saying aye. Aye. None opposed, thank you. Any further comments to that? All right, ladies and gentlemen, this meeting is now adjourned. Hope you all have a good weekend. Thank you.